So, we are very excited to introduce our next guest. Our next guest is probably the biggest Everton supporter in Aqua, if not the world.
True.
He is also the winner of the Aqua lip sync competition, in which he portrayed the character of Dr. Frank Infurter. He was in fact a sweet transvestite from transsexual Transylvania. He is also the head of innovation, the innovations lead at Aqua, as well as the head of project management. So he's got 2 jobs, which is huge, and not two salaries, not 2 salaries. So everyone, give a huge round of applause for Ciaran Burnand.
Yeah.
It's lovely to be here.
Thanks, Ciaran. I'm glad you
you.
chose a personality for today. Ciaran, tell us, what is new?
I'm here to talk about structured innovation.
Okay.
What is that?
What is it? I'll tell you what it is. The idea that innovation is a creative, spontaneous kind of process. But what we want to do is put some boundaries around that, so that we create focus on a common goal or a common problem, basically.
Okay, so innovation sounds like a creative thing, sounds like a creative thinking. You should be open, the juices should be flowing, you should be free in it. Why would we want to introduce boundaries, which sounds like the adverse of that exact process?
Well, there's actually a professor called Peter Drucker, and he sums it up quite well. He says, success is more likely to result from the systematic pursuit of opportunities than from a flash of genius. Okay. So I think it's more about getting a group of brains to think around a common problem and slowly but surely break that problem down. Even if you look at any great innovation that's come about over time, somebody will come up with an idea, but then it will go into some kind of structured process before it becomes a product, a tool, a new process. So there is always some kind of structure around it.
So I think, I hear what you're saying, and I like the idea that you can create a structured approach to innovation that can drive a new perspective. What's interesting, I mean, this is something that's conventionally done in things like hackathons, organized processes to crack out ideas in big things. What is different about structured innovation in how you would approach it?
I think that the thing is, you don't want to stifle ideas. It's not about making people think within a boundary, but it's making them more aware of a certain problem and how do we solve that problem. I think different ways of doing it. We've been running innovation in Aqua for about 2 years already, and we've tried different ways of getting people involved, getting people to come up with ideas, etc. And we've tried big groups, we've tried unstructured, and now we're going to try the structured route because we do feel that it is needed. And I think if we give a common goal or theme, say every quarter, we can then tap into people being able to attach themselves to that problem and bring their passion to bring about a solution or an innovative idea.
Cool. I mean, so I think that's great. I think so. I like the idea that we're at Aqua approaching this, but I'd be quite interested to see what you think the benefits of this approach would be on our culture.
Philips South Africa did an innovation research study a little while back, and they found out that 60% of South Africans consider themselves to be innovators.
Sure.
So what we want to do is we want to be able to tap into those people to ensure that we get engaged employees who feel like they're engaged in creating new ideas within Aqua.
Do you have any examples here in Aqua of things that we've been able to work on, or innovations in terms of the innovation hub that has been running, where we have been producing things that are quite innovative in this way?
This year has been a great year for us. Last year was just the kind of beginnings, and we managed to introduce one new tool called Envision, which was a collaboration tool. Not really innovation from our part, but we identified a problem and brought in an outside solution to solve a problem. But this year so far, we created Kevin the Robot.
He's over here. He's visiting
Kevin the
us
Robot
today,
is down there. He's also part of our Wunderman Day video. He
He took the
guided
show
us.
completely. Yeah.
We've created an innovation lab, which is headed up by our head of technical, Wunderman, where we have things like 3D printers. We're setting up all different kinds of things in there, slowly but surely building it up. We've also then had more of a soft skills approach. We have a session called This Is What I Do, where we try and get people to understand cross roles or cross role understanding. So I understand what you do as an ORM specialist. I might think I know what you do, but once you actually explain it to me, it's two very different things.
Sure.
Yeah.
So we're trying to approach from the kind of product side and the kind of softer side to change the way people think.
So it sounds like we have a lot of great things planned at Aqua. I'd be really interested, I think a lot of the other officers would be quite interested to understand how you would recommend to them to go about inculcating a culture of innovation in their business, in their businesses.
Best thing to do, just start. Don't plan too much. Just start having a meeting with a group of people once a week. Start throwing some ideas down, take it from there, optimize, change, adapt. That's how the structured innovation part is coming through for us now, even though we've been doing this for 2 years almost. We still learn every week about new things.
So I've got just one final question for you, and that is around the idea of, and just going back to the idea of the role that structure plays in a creative agency, and like the tension that would exist in a creative company that's trying to break boundaries while putting them into a very rigorous, a very process-oriented and focused approach to innovation. Like, how do you manage that? How do we get creative people to think in a structured way?
I was actually chatting to Matt, our developer, who's quite a strong team player within our innovations team, and he said they did a study where they took a whole lot of children onto a field and they put them within a demarcated boundary space and told them to just play and be imaginative. And then they did the same within the whole space of the field that was available. And they found out that the children were more imaginative in that smaller space because they had to use what they had around them. Sure. And they were actually more imaginative and more creative being in that boundary. Once they'd opened it up, people kind of just moved away from each other and there was less imagination afterwards. So I don't think it's anything new. I think we work in a very structured environment. Maybe the word structured is off-putting, but we work in a very structured environment at the moment. Our clients give us a brief and we have to solve a problem, and we work within project timelines, etc., etc. So we work in that structured environment already. I don't think it's anything new or completely advanced. I think it's just structuring.
Using the structure that we already have and then just bringing ideas into that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, Ciaran,
we have a question here from Twitter.
Oh, maybe perhaps thanks, social notification.
Yeah, tweet. I just someone wants to know something about Ciaran. So maybe you want to get into it.
So this one is from Sisana Kumalo, and she's got a great question. She's asking, how do I take innovation and turn it into a product that can be sold to clients?
This is a very good question.
The first thing is to identify what is a problem that the client has.
Yeah,
sure.
You need to know what that problem is first. Once you've identified the problem, you can then work backwards of generating different ideas. And from there, once again, you would be within a structured environment. So what's the client's problem? They need to sell more mobile phones. Okay, how do we sell the mobile phones? Okay,
sure.
We need to come up with something that's not going to cost too much, that we can build in a short enough space of time. Yeah. So that's the kind of structure I'm talking about, that you will have to work within some boundaries to be able to produce something. Otherwise, open-ended will just never end.
Before we move on, I just want to ask you one last question, because it's quite interesting, once again, just to throw in a bit of Africa and what Africa is about. And innovation is a big topic in Africa. Mm-hmm. We know that mobile has changed the way that people operate, and we've seen innovations like M-Pesa, mobile money, mobile health, mobile banking. What role do you think our innovations team can play in supporting innovation in the African context and in the African continent?
I think we're already touching onto some ideas. There's something that we're going to be launching early next year. I can't talk too much about it.
Ooh.
But it's in a kind
Tell us on the show.
It's in a kind of social media or social kind of interaction space. And I actually read an interesting article the other day about companies are moving away from your normal email engagement and are actually encouraging staff to set up chat groups, share stuff via social media, because it's quicker, it's more fun, people are more engaged, and it actually creates more thinking.
Yeah, and it's all our active
so we have something that may potentially be sold into our clients and could very much promote that whole kind of social interaction within companies. So
awesome.
We are working on some things top secret.
Amazing. So, Ciaran, I love this whole concept because it also introduces people from every area in the company. We're not just working innovations with creative anymore, but if you had one last thing that you'd like to take up, that you'd like to share with the agencies that are watching and also our audience here, what is the one thing that you'd like to leave with us?
Have fun and tap into people's passions. You'll be amazed at the different passions that people have and how they can come look at a problem and give you a completely different solution that you would never have thought of. So tap into those passions.
Awesome. Great, Ciaran, and a great message. So if people want to find out more about this topic or more about you, what do they need to do?
You can email me at ciaranb@aquaonline.com. That's CIARANB, or CiaranBU on Twitter.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much, Ciaran.
Thank you, guys.
Cool.